again, everybody. Who out there is ready for a bedtime bear story? Well, I've got just the story for you. In fact, tonight's story is a story about friendship. It's a story about Halloween. You know, that time of year when the leaves outside are changing and the wind is a little colder and the costumes are even cooler. Oh yeah, speaking of cool, tonight's story will also be read by our friend, Catalina. So, without further ado, grab your pillows, gather up all your animals, and let's get ready to read.
I wasn't scared. Excited, in fact. It was Halloween. I had my costume all packed. I was ready as ever for a trick or a treat. Candy corn and caramel, all the sweets I could eat. We had heard of the tale. Every other cub had too. But it was only a story. Couldn't possibly be true. 'Cause if we believed in that horseman or his Halloween night prowl, well, we would never have doubted the legend of Grizzly Howl. School felt like forever. Every tick of the clock, my friends and I waiting to ring every bell on the block. We had a creature and a monster, a werewolf, me, the mummy, a vampire and a phantom, all ready to fill our tummies. The sun was still falling, painted orange across the sky, and the wind, an occasional whistle, was heard through the clouds passing by. But even that couldn't stop us, and no rain in sight. A full moon in the forecast, foreshadowing the fright. And the leaves dancing downward from the fall-barren trees would be crunching under stampede of cubs in costume, fast and spree. So onward we went, all for one and one for all, collecting candy after candy, gumball after gumball. Candy wraps and gummy bees, a couple apples and some corn, but not the kind that's on the cob. They were candy cones in orange. We were loaded up with lollipops. We got Tootsies and Taffy Slowpokes. At one house we were ever so lucky to land a whole 3 feet of red licorice ropes. We were happy with tummies of honey and not even cold, until the howling wind would soon remind us of that old story told. As we crossed the street over with our paws sticky sweet, we were confronted by some older cubs daring us with the ultimate trick or treat. They said, "The big jars of honey and the king-size chocolate bears, you can only get across the bridge if you're not, well, scared." Who? Me? The mummy? Or my friend, the werewolf here? We travel with a vampire and a creature, and a phantom without fear. Well, cross the bridge and show us. Or do you just want to throw in the towel? If you want the ultimate candy, then enter Grizzly Howl. Silence was louder than the wind, whistling in that brisk autumn weather. But we stuck to the same decision, and we would cross light as a feather. Besides, we wanted that candy. It was our Halloween, and that story was just a legend, just a book, just a movie scene. So we tightened up our loot, put on our scariest of faces, and across that rickety bridge, we were off to the races. Running faster than fast as the fog became blinding. Before I knew it, my friends were missing in a place no one was finding. How could this happen? How could this be? Oh no! Are those horseshoes clapping, coming after me? So I ran and I ran, until just suddenly I ran into the werewolf. He was just as scared as me. Taking hold of my wrapping that began to unravel, together as one we advanced in our travel. But the hooves of that horse and a fiery orange head was all we could envision through the dense fog ahead. And then, out of nowhere, came the creature and vampire too. Both would stick to my wrapping, and our group quickly grew. Never mind all that candy, just get back over the bridge. We were still missing the others, and the horseman was up on the ridge. Alas, I looked up to the sky as the full moon had appeared, out from the clouds to reveal the way we had steered. Then, out in the open, finally joined by the phantom, we stampeded that bridge, all out of breath and panting. We could hear that wind howling, see that horseman with his steed, but we left them in the distance to remain only in the books that we read. I stood there, all unraveled, not a mummy, just a bear, and we counted each other, one by one, standing there. A creature, a phantom, a werewolf and a vampire, and at the end of my wrapping, a monster holding down the wire. The older cubs stood astounded at the sight that they were seeing, and none of us could believe, but seeing was believing. Somehow, some way, through the fog and the fear, the monster was holding the king-size chocolate bears. How he did it, no one knew. The legend will be told now forever. After all, what we proved on that night was that friends can do anything so long as they just stick together.
Well, Cody the Bedtime Bear and I hope that you guys enjoyed tonight's story. And remember, if you've got an idea, write it down. If you've got a picture in your mind, be sure to draw it. And if you've got a story to tell, well, be sure to share it. Until next time, good night, sweet dreams, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.